Imagine this. It's January 2nd, 2026. You sit down at your kitchen table, determined that this is the year you get your finances together. You open your laptop and instantly feel that familiar wave of overwhelm. Passwords you don't remember, accounts you forgot you opened, random subscriptions you swear you canceled, a savings account that's basically just a holding tank for stress, a credit card bill from Christmas that you don't want to look at, a life insurance policy somewhere, probably. You want to be wise, you want to be organized, but it feels like your financial life is a digital junk drawer, scattered, cluttered, and full of, I'll deal with that later. Here's the truth. Most financial stress isn't caused by a lack of money. It's caused by a lack of clarity. And the simplest way to regain clarity is to get organized. Because once your systems are clean, your accounts are simplified, your goals are clear, and your documents are centralized, something amazing happens. You feel peace. Today, we're going to give you a beginner-friendly, step-by-step blueprint for getting financially organized in 2026. From accounts, to automations, to syncing funds, to estate documents, to digital safety. If you want less chaos, less stress, and more confidence with your money, this is the place to start. Welcome to Plan to Prosper, where we exist to honor God by helping faithful servants steward their finances wisely and build wealth that endures for generations. Alrighty, we are here for another episode, and we're at the end of the year. So it makes sense to do kind of a cleanup episode as we think about how to get financially organized in 2026.
Getting into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, oh yeah, full Christmas spirit. You've been in the Christmas spirit since Halloween.
Yeah, but I feel a little bit ashamed because we only just got our Christmas tree this weekend.
Oh, where do you get yours?
We went to Mariner this year.
Where's that?
It's right outside of Westchester.
Okay, nice. Is it big?
Yeah, it's wide, a lot wider than a tree we've ever gotten.
Did you cut it down yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have a real tree?
We do have a real tree. We didn't cut it down, but
just picked it up at a lot.
No, I mean it was a tree farm, but they were they were already cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do the kids like it? I assume they like Judah into that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking the saw out and letting it rip.
Oh well, I did all the sawing, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Theo would love that. He's 3, so we're not going to let him do that. But soon enough, one of these years we'll actually cut ours down. But that's good.
Yeah.
We got your Christmas card. Our kids, apparently Elsie yesterday at one point just took the card. We put our cards like in our tree once we get them. Mm-hmm. She took it down off the tree and was just staring at it for like 10 minutes. We think she's got a little bit of a crush on Silas.
Fair enough. I don't know. She should see him at all hours of the day. That crush might go away.
And vice versa. All right. So, yeah. Beginning of the year is always a good time. People tend to make like New Year's resolutions. I don't know if that's something that you ever prioritize, but I don't know. It's a good time to sort of reconvene and get some things together.
Yeah, I like the reset, kind of just a mindset reset almost. I'm not big on like the resolutions, but I just think it's a good time to plan, prioritize, things like that.
Yeah. So that's what we want to help do today. Try to give you some actionable steps to get a little bit more organized with your finances and hopefully clarify things for you, bring some mental, that mental clutter, remove some of that and bring some stability and peace. I mean, I think about like when you have a room in your house that's extraordinarily messy, like your kids' rooms, for instance.
Or my bedroom.
Yeah, or the kitchen after a full day of cooking without being able to keep up with the dishes. Once you actually clean all that stuff up, it's much more peaceful.
Yeah. I think that as a CFA charter holder, I like to think that I'm the best at investing, and that's what people come to us for. I actually think more people find more value out of us just helping them organize their finances.
Humble brag as a CFA charter holder.
Well, I just like to say because my mind always goes to investing, but I think that sometimes the value is more in what we take for granted a little bit.
Fair enough. For those that don't know, the CFA is an extremely difficult thing to do. So it is impressive that you have that.
Thanks.
I'm not going to be a CFA. I'm never going to try for it, but I'm grateful that you're on our team.
Thanks. I am too.
All right. Let's get into this. So organization helps with clarity. Clarity helps with confidence. Proverbs 27:23 says, know well the condition of your flocks. I think for a lot of people that maybe things are really scattered, it's more difficult to do that. It's more difficult to know the condition of your flocks if everything is scattered and you don't really even know where everything is.
Yeah, I feel like some people don't even know their flocks.
Exactly. So,
let alone the condition.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to somebody recently who was, they were like, is there a way for you guys to like use my social security number to determine where I have 401ks, like where all my 401ks are? And I was like,
wow,
I don't know if we can do that. But
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't think we can. But it was just, if you've moved jobs a decent amount, that can certainly happen. It's not like a crazy thing to think about that you might not know of an account that has potentially tens of thousands or more dollars in it. If you've changed jobs a decent amount, you might have some lingering 401k somewhere that you actually forgot about. So that's why things like this are important, to make sure that you're not letting things like that slip through the cracks.
Yeah, absolutely. And not even just for you, for spouse or kids or anybody else that might not know that these things exist.
Yeah. Good financial stewardship begins with understanding what you have, where it is, and what it's doing. So let's get into it with step 1 is clean up and consolidate accounts.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, people can have 401ks, people can have various checking accounts or brokerage accounts or anything like that they don't know where it is, or they're just redundant. Try to simplify and consolidate.
Yeah. So if that example, if you have old 401ks that are scattered everywhere, it makes sense to roll those over into an IRA, for instance, or even into your current 401k, whatever would be simplest for you, so that you can get more unified in your financial life. Try to consolidate. If you've got a bunch of old 401ks, make it your goal in 2026 to put those all into one account.
Yeah, there's a simplicity aspect. I typically recommend, even to people that don't work with us, to roll over to an IRA instead of their 401k, just because 401ks have typically a menu of 40 to 50 options, maybe. Whereas if you roll it into an IRA, you have a menu of thousands of options.
Yep.
So that's typically why I like the IRA route more than the 401k route.
Yeah, we would always recommend that, but I was just simply saying you can do that.
Yeah,
you can roll it into your current 401k and put it all into one. So it's up to you, but yeah, we think you should certainly consolidate old 401ks if you've got them scattered across different custodians and different platforms. Let's roll those over. How many bank accounts do you have? Checking accounts? Do you need to have all of those? Perhaps you should consolidate those a little bit.
Yeah. My wife and I have one checking, one savings. Just makes it easy.
Yeah. The one caveat that I thought about for this is potentially if you're holding a significant amount of cash for whatever reason, and it crosses over that like 250,000, is that the FDIC threshold?
Yep.
You don't want to keep more than that in any given bank account. So if for whatever reason you're holding that much cash, which I can't imagine many people are, but if you are, then it makes sense to spread those out over a couple of accounts.
And again, typically the recommendation is if you're holding that much cash, get it out of the checking account where it's making $0 basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, at least get it into like a high yield account.
Yeah.
But perhaps some high spenders, maybe that is a 6-month emergency fund. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't have just a ton of accounts for no reason. Maybe you have a good reason for it. And we'll actually get into one of our recommendations later is like talking about having sinking funds to pre-fund future expenses.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. There's potentially good reason to have multiple accounts, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But if you have no good reason for it, no reason to have multiple checking accounts, well, then just consolidate it down into one. There's no reason to have multiple unless you're very intentional about it.
And it makes it easy. In the tragic case that you die, it makes it easier for your spouse as well.
Yeah. Random brokerage accounts. So if you've let's say you open a Robinhood account because you got a promotion there, you open a Schwab account because you wanted to open it with a checking account there or something, and there's no real reason for that. Bring it into one.
Yeah.
And unify that.
What about the sports betting accounts?
Yeah, dude, that's your domain. You tell me what we're supposed to do with those.
I recommend just one.
Okay, sounds good.
Low balance too.
Yeah. Same thing with savings accounts. We don't need 10 savings accounts. We can boil that down to a little bit less than that. So combine the old 401ks into an IRA or your current 401k if you want. Reduce checking and savings accounts, 1 to 2 accounts each, and see if you can get everything down into one custodian. I think that would be nice. It's obviously not always possible. Obviously, your 401k is where it is. You can't really control that. But beyond that, if you have investment accounts, keep those at one custodian. There's no real reason to have an account at Schwab, an account at Fidelity, an account at Vanguard.
Right.
Have them all in one place.
Yeah. It provides you with a lot more visibility and just knowing exactly what's going on. There's been a lot of innovation or progress in that industry. It used to be that if you wanted the whatever Vanguard mutual fund, you had to have a Vanguard mutual fund account. Now you can hold mutual funds and everything in that one brokerage account. So yeah, there's really not, I can't think of a good excuse to hold multiple brokerage accounts.
Yeah. Does Robinhood, I guess I don't actually know much about Robinhood. I know it's a little bit more like what the youngsters are doing for investing these days. Do they do full like Roth IRAs, different types of accounts, or is it really brokerage?
I think you can do all of the accounts. I don't have an account there.
Yeah.
I think you can do all the types of accounts, but I was talking to somebody the other day. I haven't confirmed this fact, but they said they can't do mutual fund trading.
Oh, okay.
It's only stocks and ETFs.
Okay.
I haven't confirmed that though.
Yeah. That's something to keep in mind. The point of all this is to make it simple enough so that, well, for your own sake too, but what if you passed away and your spouse has to deal with all of this now? Make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Make it easy for the executor of your will to actually organize all of this. If everything's scattered everywhere, it just becomes a lot more of a process once you're gone to figure out how to unwind all this and get everything into the right place.
Yeah, spouse and or kids.
Yeah. So fewer passwords, you're not having logins on all these different websites. You can consolidate that down. Fewer statements at the end of the year that when you're trying to do your taxes and you're trying to pull statements from everywhere. You go, where's that one account? Oh yeah, it was over here. Like it just makes it so much harder to keep track of when it's scattered like that. So
on the passwords, I like LastPass.
Okay.
So I only have to keep one password really, because then once I log into LastPass, it pre-fills all the other passwords.
Yeah. That's another recommendation. We have that later, Logan. That we'll talk about that. But
benefits, fewer passwords.
Right. I'm saying you don't have a password at Vanguard and at Schwab and at Fidelity. We will get to how to actually unify all of your passwords across everything into one. But this is strictly speaking about like custodian logins.
I might be jumping ahead again, but donor advised funds, I like those because you don't need, if you give to 10 different organizations, you don't need 10 different receipts. You can just use your donor advised fund and get one receipt.
Nice. That's clutch. And then usually you can have like a more unified view of your net worth because you can log in at Fidelity and see all of the accounts there as opposed to having to aggregate it somewhere else, and which would be helpful. We offer that to our clients on our financial planning portal to be able to connect all of your accounts, because you probably will have, you'll have a bank account somewhere, you'll have your 401k somewhere, and you'll have your brokerage account somewhere. It is helpful for net worth calculations to be able to see all that in one view, whereas you probably won't get that at Fidelity if your 401k is also somewhere else and your bank account is somewhere else. But it is still helpful to be able to see when you log on. Let's just use Fidelity as an example to see all of your accounts that you have there. In one view.
I also like the Fidelity household statements where you click one button and you get all your statements.
That is nice. So consolidate your accounts. Try to get them as few as possible.
Yeah.
Unless you have really specific goals that you want to, that you have a good reason to separate them, which is legit, and we can talk about that some other time. But like why you might have two brokerage accounts, because one might be for one purpose with a different asset allocation, and one might be for another purpose with a different asset allocation. That's legitimate, but
yeah, I also think we sometimes forget what people don't know. I think one of the more common questions we get that just isn't possible for good reason is a couple will come to us and say, "Can we open up a Roth IRA?" Roth IRAs have to be for the specific person. So you can't open up a joint Roth IRA.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that, but that's where you do need. So Danielle and I each have our own IRA because you can't have a joint IRA.
I wonder if I haven't thought this through at all, but like with an HSA, my favorite account on the planet, you have one HSA. You can have two, and there's extra catch-up contributions when you have two with a spouse. But let's just say you have one.
Wow, you're a nerd.
I know. There's an individual contribution limit, which was like a little over 4,000 this year, and then there's the family contribution limit, which was a little over 8,000 this year. But it's still just in one account. It just depends on whether you're an individual or you're a family, whether you get that higher contribution limit. I wonder if at any point they would consider doing that for Roth IRAs, where you open up a Roth IRA and you can count it as an individual one, so you get the $7,500 contribution limit for 2026. Or you could say, no, I'm married, so we can contribute up to $15,000 in the account on any given year.
I mean, you can still do that.
With two, I know.
With two, yeah.
I'm just curious because you can do that with that's how HSAs function.
Yeah.
You don't have to open one for you and your spouse and then contribute the $4,300. You can just do it in one. I'm just curious if that would ever happen.
I feel like they would have to call it something else because the I in IRA is individual.
Good point. Roth JRA. Anyway, that was a weird tangent that I just came across my mind. All right, that's consolidating accounts. Any other thoughts there?
No, just do it.
All right. What's step 2?
Automate the fundamentals. Some of this I agree with. Not everything. So we'll have a fun little conversation.
All right, let's go.
I like automating retirement contributions.
That one with your 401k, that's probably already going to happen.
Yeah, 401k. But also if you're able to do like a backdoor Roth IRA, I like thinking about automating that. So you can do 401k, but also some people can do a backdoor Roth IRA and automate it.
So they would do that annually, like just once a year. They could
do it once, or they could do it monthly.
Every month.
Yeah.
And just convert it.
Yeah.
All right.
Automatic investments into taxable accounts. I think we both talked about this last time, but we both have something set up on a monthly basis where I don't even think about it. I just see that I have cash in my account.
Yeah.
And then I invest it.
And you can set those up to automatically get invested. I think, at least on our end, I know we can set it up to buy a specific mutual fund or something.
Yeah, I think you typically can. I don't know. It's been so long since I back in like 2012, 13, I did everything on my own.
Because that's my one caution is if you do have set up on your own, like with your 401k, you can set it up to your contributions automatically get allocated as you choose when you set it up. That's not necessarily the case with automatic brokerage account transactions.
Right.
Or Roth IRA contributions. So you don't want that stuff just accumulating in cash.
Right.
So you might have to do some manual work there.
Yeah, true. But I think it's good to automate it to make sure it gets in and then just make sure you remember to know. Yeah.
Yeah, because just contributing to the Roth IRA is not enough. You want to make sure that money gets invested. Otherwise, you're missing out on a key component of what the benefit of a Roth IRA is.
Yeah. I like automating bills. Well, yeah, the fixed bills. Some like credit card, it's harder to automate just because you don't know what the balance is going to be.
Sure.
Potentially. And then tithing or generosity, I have mixed feelings about that one. We support like somebody at Crew. We do a monthly donation to another organization. Mm-hmm. Those are automated. I don't automate church just because I kind of like the feeling of it being like an act of worship. Like I actually like writing down or sitting down and writing the check.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting my heart right in that situation. We also got at one point at a different church, we got burned by automating using bill pay, and somehow I think it was, I don't even remember exactly. I don't remember if they figured the whole situation out, but I think like one of the mail carriers stole everything.
Oh man.
I just remember getting a call from the church at one point saying, we haven't seen a few donations, but you're not the only one. And it was like thousands of dollars that they didn't get from us just because bill pay that went through the mail somehow got stolen. And
that's crazy.
The bank allowed this person to cash the check.
That's unreal. I guess I didn't know what bill pay was. I would have assumed, like I said, at my old church, I had automatic giving through like their online portal. It was just paid through a credit card. So this was an automatic check that was being written?
Yeah. Yeah. With bill pay, you can set it up so that the bank sends a check to the organization automatically every month.
Wow.
And it went through the mail. It automatically went through the mail and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that in our generosity episode. Like there's something about, like you're saying, writing the check. We go to the same church, and I don't even think we can do automated giving there.
You could probably do it through bill pay. But
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's no online giving portal that I'm aware of. But I also, I think I shared this in that episode. At my last church, I was just doing it online through the portal, and so every time, like when they would do the tithes and offering in church, I would just it looked like I didn't give it all. And again, that's maybe not the best attitude to have. It's like, I want people to know that I'm giving because I really am, but I just don't have to put anything in the plate on Sunday. But yeah, so that's up to you whether you want to automate your generosity or not. I think it could be helpful for some people, but as long as you're doing it, I don't think it really matters how you do it.
There was a church I went to in college, and right after college too, where they didn't pass the offering plate. It was during the offering time, you had to stand up and walk to the front and put something in.
Wow.
And I always remember thinking, oh, if I don't get up, people are going to notice that I haven't gotten out of my seat.
Totally. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I don't know we don't do it. I don't know how I'd feel about it right now.
Yeah. Also, automatic. We're going to hit this in our next step, and I think potentially this is where we would disagree, is the sinking fund thing.
Yeah.
All right. So
I haven't mentioned that one yet for a reason.
Automatically transfer to a sinking fund. We'll talk about those in just a second. But before, why we should do automation? It helps. Obviously, automatically do it. You're not potentially not doing it because cash flow gets tight or something. Like you're not automatically saving to your savings account. Let's say you're trying to build your emergency fund and you don't have automated setup, and you just go, well, at the end of the month, whatever's left over, I'll save.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet for most people, like most of the time, they would end up just certainly saving less than they planned, but maybe not even saving at all, because the end of the month comes, you end up needing money for something that didn't, or you go out to eat, or any number of ways you could spend that money. If you're not automating it, you'll probably end up spending more than you want to.
Yeah.
So pay yourself first.
Yeah. I would say that is a potentially good argument for automating tithing, because you're also...
There's the temptation to maybe reduce it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It keeps you consistent and make sure the savings happens before you start spending it.
Yeah.
All right.
Removes emotion.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one. For most people, this works. I have one client who, even if things are automated, he'll stop by and say, hey, pull 100,000 out of the stock market. In that case, it didn't remove emotion, but that's the rare example.
Yeah. Yeah. It's helpful for and it just removes that burden from you to have to remember or to set up, like, oh yeah, I have to, let me go and do that, pay that thing, put that in. That it happens behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Even with bills, like there's only a couple of bills that I have to pay manually these days that I think, and even then I'm pretty sure most of my bills are completely automatic. And I'm grateful for that, because it would be really annoying to have to like remember to do that. And if you forget, there's potential significant ramifications that will hurt you financially. So certainly with bills, as best you can, make sure that those get automated.
Danielle does just about all of the bills. Can you, I don't even know. Can you automate things like electricity, even though it's variable?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I switched mine because with Pico, you can set up like, it's called budget billing, where it like takes your average and gives you like one consistent payment every month based on historical averages. But they can change that at any given time too. So I'm pretty sure like they keep track of what you're actually using, but they spread it out so that in like lower months when you're not using as much, you're still paying the same as you are in the higher months. It just makes it easier to budget for it.
Like April, May, I feel like September, October, our electricity is typically lower because we try to hold out on air conditioning. I'm a wimp there, so we don't hold out for as long as my wife would like. But then, yeah, same with heat.
Yeah.
I like to try to hold out there, and she doesn't.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. So yeah, you can certainly do that. I mean, probably depending on your provider, but I have it set up that way. All right. So the sinking fund thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you what a sinking fund is? Let's start there.
Yeah.
What is a sinking fund? A sinking fund is a way to build up some kind of a savings account for expected purchases that don't happen regularly. So you might have insurance premiums that only come up once a year or biannually. You might have credit card bill, like fees, like you might have an annual payment on your credit card, for instance. I use it like Mint Mobile, and that's an annual fee. So I don't pay that monthly, I pay it annually. But I don't like to be surprised by annual bills. So, or like Amazon Prime is another good example. So I just take that amount, I add all those together.
That's not monthly?
I
know almost nothing about any bill I pay, so.
Okay. Well, I think you probably can set it up monthly, but it's usually more expensive ultimately. It's usually cheaper if you choose an annual option on billing. But you can treat it as a monthly bill by using a sinking fund. So you just take the annual amount, divide that by 12, and you put that amount into a bank account every single month. It's like a savings account.
Right.
And when the bill comes due, you can just pull that money right out of your savings account, so it doesn't affect your monthly cash flow whatsoever. And you're not hit with a bill all of a sudden that you weren't prepared for in December and go, oh, I have to pay that. Now our December cash flow is like $200 less because I forgot about this annual bill. You just pull it right out of that sinking fund and you don't have to worry about it. It's really nice.
Yeah. You made a good argument for that. I just like, as I think most people know by now, I just like investing.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I do too, but it's just, if I know, like if I have to pay it, like I have to pay it no matter what. I treat it as part of my cash flow, even if it's not going to be taken out for another 6 months.
So is this different than like if you're saving for a car?
I think you maybe should do a sinking fund for a car. I don't, because that would just be a ridiculous amount of money to have to set aside if I'm like really trying to pay for a car in cash and I'm going to drop 20 grand on it or something. Like, I'm not there.
Right.
But like the biggest one I use it for is Christmas. So I set aside, I want to make sure I have a pretty significant amount of money in that by December so that I can fund the majority of like Christmas gifts for everybody.
So do you guys like in January decide what you're going to spend on Christmas gifts in December?
Yeah, I started doing that a couple years ago.
Wow, you are organized.
I got to a point where I was like, we would hit December and I'd realize I have to get gifts for people. Like, am I going to pull that out of savings? Am I going to just use my monthly cash flow? Like, it was at a point where money was too tight to feel like I felt good about that. So I was like, you know what? Starting right now, I'm going to set aside monthly cash into this account. And it's earmarked for Christmas. I'm not going to touch it. It's just going to be for Christmas gifts.
Do you still run everything through the credit card?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're still getting points. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really annoying to keep track of because with Amazon in particular, and also I found out this year Target is the same way. Like I ordered some stuff on Target. Let's say you buy something on Amazon. You buy like 10 things on Amazon, or my wife does. It makes it harder to keep track of this because then Amazon charges your credit card based on the shipments. So it might go out and 10 things might go out in 3 separate shipments, and then it's going to show up as 3 separate numbers on your credit card statement. So I'll look at it and be like, what was this $20 Amazon thing? She's like, I don't know. I didn't buy anything for $20. But then you realize, oh, it's part of this other big purchase.
4 things for $5 or whatever.
So it's I really have to like use a lot of mental effort to keep track of that stuff. But it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think it can work for some people. I just like even with when we bought a car this year, I just used some of my portfolio.
Okay. Yeah. You can use it for vacations. Like we have a vacation fund that we just save to every month. We'll use that when we travel. Car maintenance probably makes sense. I don't really use it for that, but if you have an annual inspection, probably some repairs. It's
always going to cost like $2,000.
I know. That's why I don't do it, because I'm like, I'll just take it I'll figure it out when I get there.
That's why I still have September stickers on my car.
Clearly. Birthday gifts, that's another one. Like we have so many people in our family now. Like my wife has a lot of siblings. So, like they started having kids. So there's just a lot of birthdays that come up throughout the year too. So I might have to start budgeting for that because I haven't been doing that.
I like the organization. It's better than me sitting on the couch and the other day ordering 3 ornaments for the Christmas tree for my kids, each of them saying 6, 7.
Nice.
But there was no sinking fund. It was just, you know what? I'm going to buy this right now.
Yeah. I just like it because it frees up your cash flow in the months that those bills come due or whatever. And you don't have to like shrink your normal monthly budget to accommodate those extra expenses that you weren't prepared for. So I get to still in December live life the way that I've been living it. Because I have all this other money that I've set aside for Christmas and all that fun stuff. So,
do you use high yield for your sinking fund?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's nice.
All
do it. So you could. So okay, this goes back to that first point about consolidating accounts, not having multiple bank accounts. This is one situation where maybe you want to have a couple of them. If you have all of these sinking funds, so if you've got one for home maintenance, car maintenance, Christmas, birthday gifts, vacations, insurance premiums, I wouldn't necessarily recommend opening a single savings account for each of those. You could. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It would be a lot of accounts probably, and you can just label them clearly in your wherever you have that bank. You can typically name those accounts whatever you want. I only have a couple, and the majority, like I have one account that I literally just, it's called sinking funds, and I keep track of how much goes into that each month, and then I have a spreadsheet that keeps track of the individual balances across the 7 sinking funds within that sinking fund account. So the sinking fund balance, let's say it has $1,000 in there. I have a spreadsheet that says 500 of that is on Christmas gifts, 200 of that is on car maintenance, 100 of that is on credit card fees or whatever it is. And I just keep track of it monthly on a spreadsheet, and I just update the balances each month when the payment goes in there.
Are you able to plan for taxes in that way too? Like,
no, I should. I don't, because especially since we started having kids, taxes, I typically get a refund now.
Yeah, kids are helpful that
I'm
way.
pretty close. Like I'm close, but I usually get a little bit of a refund now, so I don't super worry about that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, so to set one up, just again, list all of your non-monthly expenses. Think about everything that happens once a year, twice a year, something that happens, and add it all up. What is the annual cost there? Divide that by 12 and put that amount into a bank account every single month and use it throughout the year as those bills come up.
Yeah, I think that you made a good case. I think that can make sense. I still like my investments, but so I probably won't change my ways, but
fair enough.
Do what Dalton does.
Yeah. It does help give you some peace of mind. There's no panic when these bills come up. You can just continue to live your life, use that money, and it just creates some margin and peace in your life, and I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of like if we've had a big expense or a month of big expenses and all of a sudden our credit card has a higher balance and we don't have all the cash flow for the credit card, that's when don't worry, we've got this Fidelity account that I invest and I'll take $1,000 out of it. So I guess I'm kind of doing the same thing, just in a different manner.
See, I like keeping my money invested. So once it goes into that investment account, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to use it for anything. I just want to let that thing grow.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. What's the next step?
Where are we? Step 4?
Yeah.
Organize your key documents. So this is, I got a kind of a burn box, like a fireproof box that's also safe a couple of years ago, and that's where we keep everything. Although I was just reading through this list and I needed to get a real ID the other day, or actually now 3 months ago, and my social security card is still in my car.
All right. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I thought you were about to say you lost it or something.
Oh, I mean, I think I know where it is.
Yeah.
I haven't checked recently, but I think it's in the glove compartment of my car. Just nobody breaking into my car.
Yeah. So yeah, organize everything into one spot. We'll talk about where to, a burn-proof box or something like that. But what are the things that you should organize in these documents?
You want to keep a will. too many people don't have a will. And especially if you have kids, just think about, if something tragic were to happen, if Danielle and I go on a date night, what happens to those kids?
Yeah. Because without it, the state decides, basically.
Yeah. And you could have fights in your family or, anything like that. So get a will, power of attorney, if I don't die, but something else, traumatic brain injury or something happens, who's going to sign for me?
Yeah.
Healthcare directive, similar. Trust isn't for everybody, but if you have one, keep it in a burn box or safe. Life insurance policies, same thing. If kind of like what you were saying about the 401ks, you don't want to die and nobody realized that, oh, he had $1 million life insurance policy that never got cashed because nobody ever knew that he had it.
Right.
Property deeds, so house, car. Those are the two big ones, right? Anything else?
Boats,
titles.
if you have a boat.
Yeah. Birth certificates and passports. Absolutely. But that makes me think, do I know where my birth certificate is?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And I feel like that will be a giant hassle if I don't have it. It's probably in my burn box, but I was just reading over these notes. I was like, ooh, birth certificate.
Yeah.
Social security cards. I did lose one of those once.
Really?
It is a nightmare to get it again. I had to wait at the Social Security office for I was probably there for 3 hours.
Wow.
It's like a DMV experience. I also, when I was there, I read that if you lose it 10 times, you just can't get another one.
Huh.
They limit the amount of times you can get a replacement.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But you still have that Social Security number.
Yeah.
You don't lose that. That's weird. What if your parents are really disorganized and you just grow up and become an adult and you're like, hey, I need my Social Security card. And they're like, oh.
Well, that's one.
Yeah.
Just make sure it doesn't happen 10 times.
I guess.
Marriage license. I'm sure we have it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in our burn box. What is that used for? Other than...
That's a good question. I mean, if your spouse probably hasn't, I know we've used it for women that haven't changed their name legally yet, or they have old accounts, really old accounts that still have their maiden name on it.
True. Yeah.
That could be an issue for custodians that they need some kind of proof that they are who they say they are.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Also, if you're getting married, make sure the officiant signs off on it. I did that once. I married a couple once, and I just remember halfway through the reception, they're like, "Oh, we can't forget. You've got to come over here and sign off on this thing."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, glad you guys remembered.
Yeah, I remember doing that at our wedding. It was right after we got married, before the reception. We had the officiant and a witness come up, and we all signed it. But
yeah, witness. Yeah, I think a witness is required.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna share another weird story, but I'm not gonna go into it.
You can't just tease that.
Well, no, I think it's inappropriate. Actually, I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay.
So where to store them? Like you're saying, a fireproof box of some kind, a home safe. We keep ours in our freezer because they're pretty resilient, and if there was a fire, that would still likely be there. So
I would have to put mine in the freezer next to my shoes.
Next to your shoes?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm half kidding, but I have put shoes in the freezer before because it takes the smell away. So I'll put my shoes in a bag and put them in the freezer overnight.
With all the food and stuff in there too? Doesn't that just transfer there? You're just eating foot food, dude. That's gross.
Don't eat anything in my house.
That's messed up. Yeah, I'm not going over there. Yeah, we're cheap, so we don't have a burn box or anything, but we do have a freezer.
I can't remember what mine's called, but it wasn't bad. It was $40 or something. It wasn't. It's a burn box that you can lock.
All right. Probably makes sense to have a binder with all the stuff organized so that it's not just scattered documents everywhere, but you could do yourself and your loved ones a favor by really getting organized and having it, properly labeled and in an order that makes sense and different tabs and stuff. You could get really nerdy about it and make sure that everything, for as organized as I try to be, I'm not there at all with this. So this is a good directive for me to take this on this year, is to organize some of this stuff because I'm not there.
Also, make sure that you do put it back, unlike me. My Social Security card is in my car. Last time I used my passport, I left it in my pocket and it went through the washing machine. Thankfully, I think it expires in like a year, so I have to get a new one anyway. But yeah, if you buy them, make sure you use them and put things back in.
Keep track of that. Like, this is kind of a separate issue, but speaking of passports, this year they added the new real ID requirement for flying. Whether you're flying internationally or domestically, you needed this real ID theoretically, or you could use a passport or like this, you know. So we had this flight. We were going to Utah in June, and I showed up, or it was like the day before the flight, and I was like, I knew I had a passport. I've had a passport for 11, 12 years, right? And I grabbed the passport and I looked at it and it expired like 2 years ago. And I said, oh crap. So I tried to get my real ID like the day before the flight. The line was out around the block. So I said, forget that. And I just went for it. I went and I did my best to just see what was going to happen if I just tried to fly without a real ID or a non-expired passport. And it was actually pretty easy. All they did was like swab my hands and they let me go. But check your passport, make sure it's not expired and get it renewed. I have since renewed it and I've flown with it and it's fine. But
I did read that they're going to start fining people.
Really?
Yeah. If they don't show up with a real ID or a passport.
Well, then we flew this past time. My passport was all good. Madeline, her passport was not expired, but her passport had her maiden name on it.
Oh.
So she hasn't changed her passport yet.
Did you bring a marriage license? Or
No,
was it like
I didn't realize that. I wasn't thinking about that. My thought was, as long as it's not expired, like mine was, we'll be fine. But she had to go through the same thing. They had to swab her hands, and it wasn't a huge deal, but still, double check those things.
Yeah,
it'll save you some hassle when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Also, having some secure digital copies and some kind of encrypted cloud storage is a good idea. We provide a good source of this for our clients, a good encrypted, secure digital vault that they can upload documents to. It's helpful to have some redundancy here too.
Yeah, it's also funny to see what that's used for sometimes, because we get notifications when people use it, and you can use some folders and not share it with us as financial advisor. But I saw somebody, I don't know, it was within the last year or so, was uploading a bunch of things, and so I went into the vault to see what they were uploading to see if it was anything we needed to incorporate into the financial plan, and it was their wedding pictures from like 40 years ago.
It's awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that stuff.
Yeah. It's just funny. Not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting, account statements or something like that.
Yep.
But, yeah.
So this is important. Again, this is thinking about legacy. If you were to pass away, that your spouse and your loved ones know how to access this stuff, know where it is, know what it all functions for, and what to do in the event of your passing.
And I actually, I had mentioned the last pass, something that I should do that I haven't. Right now it's just on my phone, is write down, if you use a password aggregator, write down the password to that password aggregator and put that in your burn box.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a second.
I'm jumping the gun again.
That's fine. But ask yourself this question. If you died tonight, could your spouse find everything in 15 minutes? If the answer is no, you should probably get more organized.
15 minutes.
Well, I mean, if it's all in one spot, the answer should be yes.
Be less, a lot less, yeah. So
let's fix that. Step 5, do a 2026 financial reset audit. So just kind of a quick checklist, a financial review. We talked about some of this on the last episode, but update your net worth every year. I do it I've been doing it quarterly just because I kind of like to keep track of it.
Nerd.
I know, whatever. But at least annually, just compare what your net worth is this year compared to last year. Celebrate it, see how you've grown. If it's gone backwards, that happens too.
Yeah.
It's okay. But just strive to grow that over time. Make that I think you can get lost in the mundane day to day and see just your specific checking account or savings account or whatever. And that's all you really think about. But behind the scenes, your 401k is growing. You've been paying off student loan debt in the background or whatever it might be. And you'll be surprised that your net worth is through those processes growing quite a bit.
Yeah. And it might make sense that it goes down. Like in my financial plan, I have that it's going to be expected to go down in 18, 20 years or whatever, when we will try our best to support multiple kids through college. So in times like that, it might make sense that it goes down.
Yeah. Or a year you buy a car, you put a lot of cash into that up front, and then maybe you also take on a car payment, adding some debt to it that maybe wouldn't make it go down over an annual basis. But I don't know, maybe it would. But there's lots of reasons that it could go down.
I also just said 18 to 20 years, and I'm just realizing 10 years is going to be my first kid in college.
It's wild, dude. Update or review your savings rate. We talked about this a lot on the last episode. And can you increase that this year? Figure out a way to bump that up.
Review beneficiaries.
This is a big one.
Yeah, I feel like it's natural to just not realize that. I feel like every time I had a kid, it took me a couple months to realize, oh, my IRA has 2 kids as beneficiaries, not 3, or 3, not 4.
Yeah.
And again, worst case scenario, you pass away. The legal how it's distributed is based on your beneficiaries. So again, worst case, if you pass away and you have 4 kids and you forgot to update the beneficiary to the 4th kid, 3 kids are going to be splitting 33% of the account, and 4th kid isn't going to get anything.
So hypothetical, let's say somebody's listening to this and they go, I've got a will. I recently updated that. Know where everything is going. I'm good. Why would I need to check my beneficiaries?
The beneficiaries help you, or not help, bypass probate. So the beneficiaries trump the will.
Right.
And help avoid taxes for your heirs and all of that.
Yeah.
Unnecessary or faster taxes, essentially.
Yeah. So let's say you set up your Roth IRA 10 years ago before you were married, and your beneficiaries are your parents because you weren't married. You didn't have anybody. You were like, yeah, I'll just make it the closest loved ones that I have, my parents. Then you got married, you started having kids, you had all your kids, and you said, now it's time for me to do my will. And you set it all up exactly how you want it to go. Everything goes to my spouse. If she passed away, everything goes to my kids. But then you've got this Roth IRA that's been growing this whole time, and you pass away. Well, if you never updated those beneficiaries, it's going to your parents.
Yeah.
If your parents have passed away since then, it's the state will decide, right?
Yeah.
Or would that go to the will at that point?
Good question. I don't know. I would have to double check that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think maybe the will would kick in.
Well, yeah. I think it would go to your estate, so you would have faster unnecessary taxes to pay for a traditional IRA, not a Roth IRA. But it's been put in, beneficiaries have been put in place to make your life easier. So
yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. So it's not like drafting a will. It's easier than drafting a will. Just go log on wherever those accounts are and just double check your beneficiaries. Set up contingent beneficiaries if you've got kids or whatever. So review your insurance coverage, I think, is a good one. If your life has changed substantially through the years, you might have more insurance needs than you did when you first got your policy 3 years ago.
If you've gone from married to now you have kids, you might need more. If you've bought more of a house, you might need more. So there are a variety of things that could mean that you need more insurance.
Yeah. What else?
Cut unused subscriptions. This one, I feel like I'm pretty good here. Apple actually made it kind of easier. I went through I can't even remember where I found it. I would have to relook it up again, but you can go into Apple and see everything you're paying for and just remove it. They made it like almost like a one swipe thing.
Yeah.
But I know there are other ones that review that too. But yeah, just make sure that you're not paying for things that you don't use.
Yeah. Rerun your retirement projections if you have the ability to do that, or talk to us if you want to see what that looks like. Just make sure you're still on track, that it's not, no matter what happened this year, that it's not like crazy derailed or anything. I would be surprised if anybody got there, but things happen. So always keep an eye on it.
And make sure you know what you need to retire.
Yeah, exactly. Adjust your budget. If you are a big budgeter, just make sure you're keeping an eye on that you're not using the same budget this year that you were using 4 years ago with inflation and lifestyle change. Things change. So
yeah, or if you realize, oh, my car has 200,000 miles, I'm going to need a new car this year.
Yeah.
Make sure you're adjusting that in the new year.
Yeah. Review your charitable giving goals. See if you can increase that at all. I think we encourage that in the generosity episode to how can you get a little bit more generous with each passing year.
Yeah. Yep. Check the investment allocations and rebalance if needed. This is what we do for clients, but if you're not a client and you do it yourself with investing, you just want to make sure that you're not over allocated to certain areas of the market unintentionally, just because of growth or because you didn't have a whole lot of organization in how you were investing. Make sure that your investments still make sense.
Yeah. We thought of this as like, it's kind of like your yearly physical at your doctor. It's just a way to reset and make sure everything still looks good, everything's still on track, and that you're making the appropriate adjustments to make sure you're healthy moving forward.
Yeah, that yearly physical at the doctor that I do every 5 years.
Exactly. I don't even have a doctor. Like I haven't had a doctor since I was a kid, like when I became an adult, I just didn't, I moved around to different places. So I just never had like, this is who I go for my annual physical. I should figure that out, I think.
Yeah. I didn't have a doctor, and then I got Lyme disease one year.
Oh.
And the urgent care was like, well, we'll give you this prescription, but then go to your primary care physician in 10 days or whatever. It's like, oh, I guess it's time for me to find one.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that too.
Yeah.
We're not physical. We don't give health advice here, but there's one. There's a freebie.
Yeah. Find a doctor.
Find a doctor.
And go.
Yeah. All right. We're running out of time here. We got how many more do we have? Only 2 more. Step 6 is we'll finally hit the one that you've been teasing this whole time. Get your digital life secure. This is kind of an underrated part of your financial organization, but use a password manager, like you've been saying.
Yeah, I use LastPass. It's really nice. It pre-fills passwords. You just press a button.
Yeah. So explain how that works. You still have multiple passwords across all of your digital accounts.
Yeah,
and they're
different passwords,
highly secure. That I assume that they put that together for you.
It can. I mean, you can set them, or it can just randomly generate a password for you.
Yeah.
But then it saves the password, your username and password. So anytime I go on a website that requires it, I have a little plug-in on my browser, and it just pre-fills the username and password.
Yeah. So you only have to remember one password.
Yeah.
And it gives you the rest. This is a big one. I think a lot of websites, and especially for financial institutions, are automatically using this, but 2-factor authentication, make sure that's turned on. When this first started coming up, I remember being annoyed by it, that I was like, I don't want a text message to verify this, but it helps keep you secure so that somebody doesn't steal your password and be able to log on to your bank account.
Right.
That you need to get an actual text message to the phone that you use.
Yeah, and some of the technology has made this easier too, because I know there are some organizations that will use like the iPhone facial recognition too. Yeah. So put the password in, also get recognized, and I'm in.
Yep. Make sure it's you. So yeah, turn that on for every financial account. This one, I don't know. This might be excessive, but like using separate emails for financial logins, like just trying to spread out a little bit, that doesn't necessarily help with your consolidation thing. And I don't know.
I mean, I have my work email that I tell anybody that knows me to email that email, because I also have a Gmail account that I just use for every login.
Yeah.
So that because it gets hundreds of emails a day, I feel like, and I just ignore them.
Yeah. Backup important files in the cloud and locally. So make sure that not everything, we talked about this earlier, but is not just stored locally on a hard drive, so that if that computer dies or whatever else could happen to it, that you don't lose those important things.
Yeah, or I also have like a external hard drive that also helps, because instead of it just being on your computer, it's on this other hard drive that you can plug into a different computer.
Yeah. And so for all that, again, the final step is just making sure that you're kind of thinking about this through a biblical lens, that this isn't just, this is just normal financial advice for anybody, but there's biblical wisdom behind this too, that the Lord God is a God of order and not chaos. And so that this will help you to reflect his character in the way that
expects us to be good stewards.
Yeah. Being prepared demonstrates a love for your family. And that's really important, obviously. And it helps enable more generosity in your life. And peace and wise planning. So,
yeah, instead of a lot of times now I use what did you do in April of this year when the stock market went down? We like to provide people with peace by managing finances so that they don't really have to absolutely don't have to freak out.
Yeah.
And And I think just, adding that organization keeps you from freaking out.
All right. So, quick takeaways before we wrap up here. What can you do this year? Obviously, we just went through everything, but some just recap. Let's combine an old 401k. If you've got one lying around, let's roll that over into an IRA.
Yeah. Be like Dalton, set up a sinking fund.
Yes, do it. It'll save you a lot of heartache. I don't know. It's nice.
I don't feel like I have heartache, but you made a good case. Dalton, use something other than your freezer.
I mean, I think it's safe, but I do have to organize it. It's in there, but I do need to do a better job of organizing all that stuff.
Okay. Use a password manager. Again, the only one I can recommend, because it's the only one I use, is LastPass, but there are others.
Mm-hmm. And turn on some automation for at least one financial goal this year.
Yeah.
We recommend doing it for all the stuff that we talked about earlier, but let's start small. Just at least do one. Set up some kind of savings goal.
Yeah. And if you want help with any of this, we're happy to help.
Always. Any other thoughts?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right. Thanks for listening. Tune in again next week. Actually, are we going to do one next week? It's Christmas next week.
I think you have it on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll do one more before the year end. So tune in again, like, comment, and subscribe. God bless.
God bless.
Investment advisory services offered through Stonecrop Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This material is intended for informational purposes only.